This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. I put a community post up a little while ago asking what exactly is classic rock and what are your favourite classic rock albums. I asked what it is because it is a pretty kind of nebulous thing to try and tie down, and there were quite a few suggestions for how you would define the genre, but the one that made the most sense to me was someone who said it's a retrospective label. You know, you'll hear people talk about a new blues album or a new funk album or a new country album, but you never hear, or a new metal album, but you'll never hear anybody talking about a new classic rock album. It's got to have been around a while and earned its stripes, and you know, and kind of proven that it can stand the test of time. Nobody in the 1970s was talking about, yeah, we're going to record some classic rock. It was just rock music back then, and if it's lasted till now, well, it's earned the classic prefix. So I think that's about as watertight a definition as we can nail it down to, really. If you've got any better suggestions, then leave them in the comments. And as I said, I asked people to list their favourite classic rock albums, and what I was going to do was sift through that list and, you know, kind of see how many votes each one got and come up with some kind of top 5 for today. But there wasn't, the data was kind of quite widely spread, shall we say. There's only really 2 albums that get more than one mention, so there wasn't enough. It would have been a bit of a fool's errand, I think, to try and you know, extrapolate from that which of these, what order these are in. But nevertheless, these are the classic rock albums that you chaps nominated as being worthy of respect and a mention. UFO, Strangers in the Night, Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous, Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush Live, Pat Travers, Putting It Straight, Deep Purple, Machine Head, and then we get another Deep Purple Machine Head nomination again. Led Zepp 2 and 4, Queen, A Night at the Opera, Santana, Abraxas, Man, Do You Like It Here Now? Don't know that one, but I do know Argus by Wishbone Ash. 10 Years After, A Space in Time, Frank Zappa, Hot Rats, great album. Rory Gallagher, Deuce. Led Zepp 4 again, Black Sabbath Volume 4, Destroyer by Kiss. AC/DC, High Voltage and Slade, Play It Loud. Nazareth, Razamanaz, ZZ Top, Tres Hombres, Status Quo, Pile Driver, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, and Deep Purple, Machine Head once again. Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden, Sabotage by Black Sabbath, Blizzard of Oz by Ozzy Osbourne, Nevermind the Bollocks, the Sex Pistols, Never Say Die by Black Sabbath, In Rock by Deep Purple, Sabotage again by Black Sabbath, Rainbow Rising by Rainbow, and Holy Diver by Dio. And just reading out that list, there's probably some people already furiously typing in the comments that that album isn't classic rock, that's metal, or whatever. But as I said, it's a nebulous thing to try and tie down, so you know we can agree on some flexibility in the use of the term. I then decided, well, I'm going to put together a top 5 list of my own for my 5 favourite classic rock albums, but I couldn't stop myself at 5, so here are my 10 favourite classic rock albums. Here they are.
Machine Head by Deep Purple.
Machine Head, yes, Deep Purple. I mean, it's got Pictures of Home, it's got Space Trucking, it's got Smoke on the Water, it's got Lazy. It's just, you know, for me, it's the defining album from the Ritchie Blackmore era of the band. And yeah, had to be on the list. I can't really justify it any more than that. It's just an essential classic rock album, and that's an end of it. Next.
Boston by Boston.
I never ever tire of hearing this album. It's it's a masterpiece from beginning to end. There's never a, you know how I think it was which was it, Classic Album Review did a video about great albums that are kind of marred by one stinker of a track. Well, this album doesn't have that track on it. It's just, it's a masterpiece from beginning to end. It is admittedly the only Boston album you're ever going to need, but you do need this one. Next,
Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I mean, an obvious choice, but it's got to be on the list, hasn't it? How can you not talk about Dark Side of the Moon? It's one of those albums that you have to, well, I do anyway, I have to sort of carve out a piece of time to sit and listen to it, because you can't just put it on and then think, okay, right, well, I've got to go and do this now, and then, kind of skip the second half of it, or you've got to sit down, preferably with headphones on, and listen and pay attention. Do you remember when people used to do that with music and albums? I will, every now and again, I'll just carve out some time in the diary and say, right, that is Dark Side of the Moon. That's what I'm doing there. I'll even put it in the calendar on my phone. It's just such a fantastic album. Next,
The Snow Goose by Camel.
This album, I think, should be seen in the same light as the previous one, Dark Side of the Moon. It's an absolute masterpiece of an album. I'm going to be using that word quite a bit, I suspect, throughout this list. If you're not familiar with The Snow Goose by Camel, it is the most beautiful, charming suite of tunes. There's guitar virtuosity courtesy of the wonderful Andy Latimer, fantastic melodies all the way throughout. It's an entirely instrumental piece, apart from a few do-do-do-do-do-do kind of vocals, but it's just utterly mesmerising. If you're not sure about this album, what it's about, it's basically the novella by Philip Gallico, The Snow Goose. It's meant as a soundtrack to read that book by, and I discovered that in an English lesson at school, but I've told that story many times. So yeah, The Snow Goose by Camel, one of my favourite classic rock albums. Next,
Black Rose by Thin Lizzy.
Now, Live and Dangerous is often spoken of as a great Thin Lizzy album, and I won't hear a word said against it. One that always gets overlooked, I think, is the second live album they did on the final tour, the Thunder and Lightning tour, called Life. That's a great live album as well. It has a lot of their later material on it. But for me, my favourite Gary Moore, favourite studio album, just spoiler alert there, is Black Rose, because it has Gary Moore on it, and again, not a bad track on it. Waiting for an Alibi, With Love, the title track, and just so many great songs on there. To me it's Thin Lizzy's best studio album, and by a country mile. I absolutely love it. Next,
Down to Earth by Rainbow.
Yeah, around about the time that I started getting into rock music in the late 70s, because rock bands didn't tend to appear on Top of the Pops for the most part. You get the occasional one, but then towards the end of the 70s, you started seeing Judas Priest with Living After Midnight, and Rainbow with Since You've Been Gone. I still remember that music video for that. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Kind of got me into the slightly heavier side of things from the 50s rock and roll kick that I'd been on for a while. Fantastic album. Again, Lost in Hollywood. And Since You've Been Gone, All Night Long, and Love's No Friend. Just loads and loads of great songs on here. Never need to skip any one of them. You never needed to, to kind of walk over to the stereo and lift the needle up and place it on the next track, or press the skip button on the CD, whatever your generation is. Absolutely love this album. Had to be on the list. Next,
Sunburst Finish by Bebop Deluxe.
Yes, Bill Nelson's crew, Bebop Deluxe. Just something slightly out of left field. Many people might dispute this is actually classic rock, and they might call it art rock, or progressive rock or whatever. To me, it's just great catchy rock music, fantastic guitar playing, and great songs. And You know, it's an album much like the Snow Goose that I suspect many people have. It's slipped under the radar of many people, but you know, well worth checking out if you're not familiar with it. Next,
Queen's Greatest Hits.
yes, okay, I know it's a compilation album, but it was the first Queen album that I owned. Got this pretty much when it came out. And, you know, it has all of the usual... Well, you know what Queen's Greatest Hits is. It's just everything that that was great about their music, really. You know, you've obviously got the pomp and circumstance of Bohemian Rhapsody through to the... you know, the kind of tongue-in-cheek rock and roll pastiche of Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Yeah, it's just a great collection, a great sort of compilation, really, of Queen songs. If, you know, compilations like albums like this serve a purpose because they get people into a band, you know, and then they think, oh, right, I'll go and check out some more of their stuff. And that's certainly what I did. But Queen's Greatest Hits got a very special place in my heart. So it's how can you deny this is classic rock? So that's why it's on the list. Next.
Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, there used to be a late night radio show on a local radio station round here, and I was very, very kindly reminded of it by somebody in the comments section a while back. Anyone from this part of the world might remember Radio Tees and their show Natural Mass. And yeah, they round about the time I was starting to get into Rainbow and Judas Priest and bands like that, they were also playing tracks by Molly Hatchet. And yeah, Flirting with Disaster, that album got a few spins on that show. And, you know, it was one of those, everybody else in the house is asleep. I'm pretending to be asleep, but I've got my headphones on and I'm listening to some killer rock music. So, yeah, Flirting with Disaster by Molly Hatchet. Lots of great memories for me from that sort of period of when I was first discovering, you know, kind of shouty guitar music. Next.
Hotel California by the Eagles.
I'm surprised no one mentioned this on the in the comments, but they didn't, so I'm going to mention it now. Yeah, Hotel California. It's Hotel California. It's got the title track has a guitar solo on it that has been, God knows how many times it's been voted the best guitar solo ever played, for very good reason. And just the songwriting on this album, and the arrangement and the production and everything. Dear me, talk about a headphones album like we were talking about Dark Side of the Moon earlier. This is another one that deserves that kind of treatment. Sit down, shut up, put the headphones on, pour yourself a glass of, you know, something amber and intoxicating, and just pay attention and marvel at this fantastic music. So there you go. Those are my 10 picks for my favourite classic rock albums. And that concludes the list for today. You know, I'll dig out some links so you can check out all of the choices that I made and put those in the description if there's any there that you're unfamiliar with. I suspect one or two, maybe the Snow Goose, and maybe that Bebop Deluxe one might not be as widely known as some of the others. So if there's anything there you're unfamiliar with, go and check it out and let me know what you think in the comments. But that is the video for today, folks. Thank you so much for taking part in this. It's been a fun little one to put together this, and it just gives me a little bit of an insight into what my loyal viewers' listening habits are, and you know, always good stuff. But that's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it useful, entertaining, informative, whatever. If you've enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and have a chat. Basically, you know, it's just beer and chat. That's it. No script, nothing like that. Just beer and gossip. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, though, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.